Yo, my dumb ass. Yo, chat. What's up, man? What's up? We got a good show today. I forgot. I do this every time. I put my headphones on and I forget to put the mic in. I do this every time, but we got a good show today. Um, Niggas need to shape up, as y'all can see. You know what I mean? My shit looking straight though, but I definitely need to shape up. You heard? Um, yeah. I want to talk about this live from yesterday. Nick Fuentes, he was basically explaining the new I guess they got some policy where they gonna let immigrants in that's gonna like assimilate, they saying. He's saying it's white people and like if you like I need to read it for real. But like I usually trust his judgment on these articles that he's talking about. I think he said it's in the New York Times, but I'm sure I could find it in Wall Street Journal. Um, hmm. Let me see. I think it would be in foreign, right? World, uh, world, let me see. Let's see, 11 hours ago, Trump. Authoritarian. I do want to read this one. 3 minutes too. That's real quick. I'll take that. I do want to read this one, but this is not what I'm getting into right now today. Damn, another one? Okay, I'll read that too later. What was that yesterday? Trump concern. Jesus! These
What's
niggas,
the next step in this war on
these
cartels and
niggas
migrants?
want Venezuela, bro. Chill. This ain't even a readable article. This is straight. Watch this shit. All right, that's a video, but um, all right. Maybe we should just listen, cause he's like I said, it's in maybe law. Question use of race of drawing. Supreme Court question the use of race in drawing voting districts. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I feel like we might just need to listen to this Nick Fuentes deal here. I think so. Because I'm not seeing it here. I know it's probably somewhere if I look. Um, um, let me see. Trump rejects Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal. Supreme Court. Yeah, where the fuck is it? It might be from like a few days ago, maybe. Let me see. Nah, 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 nah. I need to get a fucking New York Times fucking fucking what's the name subscription. They threw my man Nick Fuentes on that bitch, yo. Like that's based. Like you know what I mean? Like fuck the Wall Street Journal. I had some old racist nigga tell me to read that shit. So I had to. That's what made me start fucking with the Wall Street Journal. Some old racist white nigga was like, yeah, like this is where you're gonna get like really good resources from. And he's not wrong, but I feel like the New York Times might be a little more based, if you know what I mean. And we care about the base. We care about the base. You know what I mean? We care about the base. That's how I feel. Said pay the cost to be the boss. Pay the cost to be the boss. All right, let me set up here though. Let me actually set up. Let me roll this L. So we're gonna listen to this while I roll up. Fuck it, right? And then we'll listen to it while I roll up. I'll pause it where I got to. Give my thoughts, opinions, shit like that. Once I'm rolled up, I'll just listen and play some chess. You know, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy. Nothing insane, nothing strange going on here. Let me motherfucking start this thing up. Let me start this thing up here. You should have paid a cost to be the boss.
Good evening, everybody. You're watching America First. My name is Nicholas J. Fuentes. We have a great show for you tonight. Very excited to be back here with you tonight on Wednesday. We have a lot to talk about tonight, lots to get into. Big show. It's actually another slow day. Not going to lie. Very slow news day. Not a lot to discuss. It's another show that I'm on the road. And fortunately, this is going to be the last show this week that I'm not in the studio. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow with...
Should I drop these videos today?
Morning, and then I'll be doing my show back at the regular place tomorrow night. So tonight is the last laptop stream, and it's actually good because the news has been pretty slow the past couple days. I'm not really missing anything big. But our featured story tonight, we're going to be talking all about a apparently new decision in the White House that they're only going to import white refugees in the future. And I got to say, some of the stuff the Trump administration is doing, it is low-key kind of based.
Like his face when he says that, bro. This is what makes niggas think she's a Fed, bro. It's like, bro. It's like you can't just say that and like had this evil grin looking like you already like 5'2", bro. Like you already giving like, you know, leprechaun, evil leprechaun fucking vibes. This nigga talking about some, yeah, it's kind of based that they're only gonna let white people in. I said we're gonna have a white in America. That's what I said. I fuck with it though. I mean, listen. This is why I gotta find the article myself, cause I know they ain't just get on that bitch and say white people. I know that for a fact. They most likely said the people that are like, you know, most likely assimilating and stuff. If y'all don't know what that means, I'll look that up real quick. So we get the real definition. The process of taking in, fluid, understanding information and ideas, absorption and digestion of food nutrients, assimilation. Understand information, ideas. Process of adopting the beliefs, values, and customs of a different culture or group. See? And I can't find no article on it. I don't know where it would be at. Maybe latest, but like I don't really know. We talked about this yesterday, and it's like, dang. Alright, we'll listen to this shit though.
Tough. And I give you permission. It's okay to glaze Trump a little bit. It's okay to say Trump is based. Because some of the stuff I just love to see. Today, the State Department is posting all these people that they've revoked their visa because they celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. And so I don't know if you saw, but on the State Department's Twitter account, they're posting one after the other. These are apparently visa holders in America from other countries. We're laughing about Charlie Kirk, and the State Department says on Twitter, visa revoked, we're taking your visas. Low-key shit's kind of tough. Like, okay, awesome.
You see what I'm saying? Low-key shit's kind of tough. Like, and this is why he's a smart nigga, because like you could be book smart. But like if you're like people smart, like if you're book smart and like you like got a good read of the room and you know like okay, like in certain situations like doing this, doing that, like it's just not beneficial. Like he spoke about it with the Gavin Wax thing or whatever, like some fucking Jewish kid like was in his Republican group chat and he like leaked all these messages because Apparently, like he ain't get voted in for something that he wanted to get voted in for, and he's like, you know what, fuck it, gonna turn on my guys. I don't really remember where I was going with that, but it's kind of smart. Like my Twitter here, like this is my real YouTube handle, so it's like I can't hide. Like if a nigga click that joint and click my Twitter, they gonna know exactly who I am, which I don't really care. Like I be saying whatever. Like I think that's the difference between white people and black people. Like white people use this construct where it's like, oh, like the moral standards around it. Like black people can say whatever, and we can't. It's like no, you can, and like some of you get rewarded for doing it. Like you know what I mean? Like you can, you just want everyone to think you can't. So like it makes it a big deal when you question why black people do say it. You know, like Matt Walsh was like, and I don't even feel like getting into this right now. I will later. But he was like having a big, oh well, fucking Shiloh Hendrix. The people try to cancel her, and the same people that canceled her or tried to cancel her, fucking are outraged about Carmelo Anthony. It's like, where's your proof of this? Like, can you show me one account that like blatantly said both of those things? And I know people are like that, bro. I know people are like that. Like I was talking with my homie, and like he came around as one of my homies that were like kind of like, yeah, like fuck Charlie Kirk, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. He came around, bro. I gave him the rundown, like, bro, we can't just do that. Like that's we cannot just do that. It's not progressive. It's not gonna get us no further. We can't arm up and take things down. Like I understand for regime change and for revolution, there gotta be blood. But like Luigi Maggio already did that, and now they trying to hang this nigga. It's like we don't got the materials. We don't got the, we like you feel me? Like you can't just become a jihadist, cause then like one if they decide to go to war on us, like we're just gonna lose. So I'm like, yeah. So we have to not promote any of that kind of stuff, cause it's like at the end of the day, like we glad Charlie Kirk died. Now let's say one of us go and do a speech and get cooked or something like that. That's crazy. Like it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be people glad about it, and it's like we know damn well like that's wrong. So if we had this moral stability about it, even if we disagree with them, at the very least, if that shit happens, like it should cause a ripple effect where people are like, all right, well this guy was actually, you know, human. Like he fucking had morals. He didn't agree with them. He could easily say it, but he's fucking sad, and now like and I'm not planning to get murked, but it's like, that's the route you choose if you're gonna be doing shit that Charlie Kirk's doing. Like even Nick Fuentes when he was going out like to July or January 6th and giving speeches and shit like that, going to campaigns, helping Joe Kent lose like that. Like now, mind you, would it happen that gruesomely again ever in our lifetime? I mean, it's definitely a possibility, but maybe not. Maybe you won't get sniped in front of everybody and yada yada. But and maybe like even with Charlie Kirk, maybe it wasn't the sniper. Maybe it was someone else. Maybe it wasn't that gay faggot. Maybe it was somebody else that killed him. But at the end of the day, like the results are still the same. Like you're fucking flatlined for essentially, giving your opinions that you have, that a lot of people have. Like a lot of niggas are gonna stand on this racist, bigoted shit. But it's like a lot of motherfuckers in America feel the same, if not stronger, than Charlie Kirk. Like I had this one nigga, I don't know if he was a young boy or what, but he made me feel like Unk. He slid in my DMs after posting Charlie Kirk, and he said Sybau, Sybau, with like a sad face and like a low charge emoji and like a rose. And I automatically knew this dude was trolling and trying to get something out of me. Obviously, I looked it up. It stands for "Shut Your Bitch Ass Up." I gave him the 100. I called him a gay faggot. I'm like, "Are you a gay faggot?" Like, like you seem to be pretty happy about a gay faggot killing, somebody. And he's pretty much like, "Yo, you're supporting a racist bigot. That's crazy." And you're like, I'm like, "Nigga, I'm not supporting him, bro. I'm not supporting him. I don't agree with him even a little bit." But should he have fucking got sniped like that, nigga? Should he have gotten killed and taken off this fucking earth like that, bro? Like, for real? Like, is that really how we... It's like, you kind of sound like a crazy. Like, when you come in and say, "Set my bitch ass up," and then you telling me I'm supporting somebody, which I'm not supporting. I'm just showing... I'm just showing, I'm showing concern for what happened. You know, enlightening the situation. You know, I'm spreading awareness. If anything, I'm not supporting. I'm spreading awareness. The fact that that happened, and it's rage bait for real. It's shock value. That's why I'm posting it. But it's like, it worked. I rage baited this nigga. He came in my DMs. He's like, oh yeah, bitch ass up. Then he ended up being like, after I told him that, I'm like, bro, you're a gay faggot. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't agree with him. I'm not in agreement with him. But like, shouldn't have died that way, bro. Fuck it. Like, we got to play this game fair, and that ain't fair if we're just gonna kill niggas we don't agree with. They got motion. That's not fair. You know. And I would show y'all the DMs, but I'm not into like showing private shit. I mean, it's not even that private. Like, I could show y'all, but the real reason is because it's on my personal gram, and I'm not signing into that shit right now. I wouldn't have a problem showing y'all, in all honesty, but like it's not. It's for me. It's not that deep. Like I don't have to lie about this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know. And I brought that story up just because basically I didn't even tell my homie yet, but my homie was kind of that same. I kind of gave him the same kind of talk. And ended up being like, yeah, you right, but like just be careful with it, bro. Like just be careful. He's like, don't raise bait our side, maybe, right? I'm like, nah, nigga, cause like the niggas on our side gonna feel me. Like they might look at that crazy at first, but it's like y'all really crazy saying I'm glad this nigga died. Like, glad is crazy. Glad is crazy. Saying he got what he had coming to him, saying something like that, I get it. Cause like, obviously, when you offend people, it's 350 million people here, and we all can get guns at a very easy convenience. So saying like, okay, it was inevitable or something like that, it's like maybe not inevitable, but yeah, like I get where you're going. But to say yeah, I'm glad he died, it's like, damn, dude, like what the fuck? Like if I get cooked, like and niggas glad I'm dead, like you gonna want to kill them people, like you're gonna want to kill them because I'm not no fucking bad person. I'm a good father. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of good qualities about me, but that whole being glad Charlie Kirk is dead. I'm really trying to change that whole narrative, bro. Like we need black people to not be that way. Cause now I'm gonna get into it. Cause there's niggas like him that's gonna take advantage of that. Now I'm gonna get into it. Cause this is a good segue.
Tried unsuccessfully to cancel Shiloh Hendricks. The mob that tried unsuccessfully to cancel Shiloh Hendricks was far, far more outraged over Shiloh saying the N-word than they were over Carmelo Anthony stabbing somebody to death. Indeed, many of them actively supported Carmelo Anthony murdering Austin Metcalf.
And this is my thing. It's like they're careful with their words. They know what they're doing. Let's just listen to what he says here.
Are far more outraged over Shiloh saying the N-word than they were over Carmelo Anthony stabbing somebody to death. Indeed, many of them actively supported Carmelo Anthony murdering Austin Metcalf.
You see what I'm saying? Like he says, many of you guys supported Carmelo Anthony murdering this white person. I don't know nobody at all that supported that. I don't know anybody at all. At the very most, they say he got to be treated like an American, like a real American, not some black nigga that we think is just guilty. But if he say self-defense and there's no clear evidence that it's not self-defense, you're gonna have your opinions. But like to say we support him killing him is nuts. Like who are these people you're speaking of? Because like I don't think they're even worth like taking serious. You know what I mean? Like, who are these people you're speaking of, Matt Walsh? Real shit. Be honest. They're mad about Shiloh Hendricks saying the word. Nigga, what word? Say it, bitch. Nigga.
The mob that tried unsuccessfully to cancel Shiloh Hendricks was far, far more outraged over Shiloh saying the N-word than they were over Carmelo Anthony stabbing somebody to death. Indeed, many of them actively supported Carmelo Anthony murdering Austin Metcalf.
And I can say this, like, he might got a point there where it's like, okay, some people probably are more outraged about Shiloh Hendricks than Carmelo Anthony. And it's a couple reasons for that. One, they probably not paying attention. They don't give a fuck. They ain't they kid. Two, a lot of them probably done dealt with that shit before. They kid done killed somebody or done did a crime. Like, there's people in the community, in our black community, and like white people probably can't even fathom this. But there's people that go to jail and are in jail and have been in jail for a while over a crime they ain't do. Because one, it's a code where they're not going to tell. And even if they are going to tell, it's like, the evidence is not enough to prove them innocent. but they literally didn't do it. Like somebody, like I know of a situation where somebody looks like the cuz, like they look the same, but and this is why I found this out. Like when you go and you get pictures taken for your mugshot and they take a picture of your tattoos, they don't say what it is. They just say tattoo on hand, tattoo here. They don't really tell you what the tattoo is. So like this nigga's in jail because he looked like the cuz that actually did it, and he been in jail for a while now. And that shit happens in our community. So for people to be outraged about Shiloh Hendricks and not outraged about Carmelo Anthony is because the shit happens all the time, essentially. Like, if he is innocent, we all paint him as guilty. Like, you know what I mean? We done seen it before.
The mob that tried unsuccessfully to cancel Shiloh Hendricks was far, far more outraged over Shiloh saying the N-word than they were over Carmelo Anthony stabbing somebody to death. Indeed, many of them actively supported Carmelo Anthony murdering Austin Metcalf. They rewarded him financially for it.
That's just a flat out lie. Like, that is just a flat out lie. Like, so you telling me you're supposed to, like, let's say your friend has a kid that does a crime that's crazy, murders somebody. Let's say that. Are you gonna look at your friend and say, "Yeah, we gotta cut this family off because they kid made a mistake"? Nah, bro. You're gonna be there for that family because you personally know them, and you personally know that's just tragic, and no one wants to deal with that. And there's no telling, like, it's kids, you know, like it's fucked up. Like, I don't think they wanted to raise a murderer. That's what he kind of painting this as. He painting this as like we're trying to raise murderers. You know what I mean?
And this is all part of the preposterous racial double standard that has defined American culture for generations now. It is a double standard that declares it a greater crime for a white person to say a word than for a black person to kill a white person. In fact, killing a white person could even be a just punishment for saying that word, according to these standards. The rules surrounding this word, the moral weight granted to it, the arbitrary guidelines drawn around
The rules, the moral weight, the arbitrary guidelines. Just say the word, pussy.
it. It's all nonsense. It's all indefensible on both moral and intellectual grounds. People are fed up with it. The mob that tried unsuccessfully to cancel Shiloh Hendricks was far, far more outraged over Shiloh saying the N-word than they were over Carmelo Anthony stabbing somebody to death. Indeed, many of them actively supported Carmelo Anthony murdering Austin Metcalf. They rewarded him financially for it. And this is all part of the preposterous racial double standard that has defined American culture for generations now. It is a double standard that declares it a greater crime for a white person to say a word than for a black person to kill a white person. In fact, killing a white person could even be a just punishment for saying that word, according to these standards. The rules surrounding this word, the moral weight granted to it, the arbitrary guidelines drawn around it, it's all nonsense. It's all indefensible on both moral and intellectual grounds. People are fed up with it. The mob.
And like, when you listen to this guy say that, it's just like, to not say nigga one time in this whole 55 seconds is crazy. Because it's like, that's essentially what the video is about. It's not even about Carmelo Anthony. It's about the fact that it's like, we're so upset that there's a word being used from people of white descent. That's fucking crazy. Like, say the word then, nigga. Bitch, be. Why don't you be the example and start saying it? This is why we respect Nick Fuentes. This is why we respect this nigga right here. Don't agree with him all the time, but respect for sure.
The featured story is that
Respect
they're
for
only
sure.
going to bring in white refugees, get this, who oppose immigration. So it's not even like they're bringing in white refugees who are liberal and gay. They're bringing in white refugees that are based and that don't want more immigration. And specifically, in some of the conversations surrounding the policy says they're prioritizing immigrants who will assimilate, and naturally those are the white people. And I gotta say, I like it. I just wish we got more and in a systematic way. And I was talking to some friends earlier today, and I said, this is good stuff. Like ICE in Chicago and pushing down the protesters and revoking the visas of people celebrating Kirk's death and this. it's great stuff, but it's just not enough. It just feels like a school pizza party slice of pizza. It's like you get like a narrow, like little slice of pizza, a Dixie cup full of Dr. Pepper. It's like we need the whole loaf. We need an extra large, extra cheese. We need a 2-liter. Like, we just need more. We need more detention centers. We need more militarization of the cities. Like, bring in the National Guard everywhere. Like, bring them everywhere. In every major city, you know, they send like 400 guys to Chicago.
That's a fact.
3 million people. Send in 50,000. Send in 100,000 soldiers.
And bro, I feel him here. He kind of like being sarcastic a little bit, but I mean, bro, like, what the fuck is taking so long with militarizing this place, bro? Like, we give out guns for free. You got open carry in damn near all the South. Like, you know, how many school shootings and mass shootings happen in a year? Black people just kill each other for the sake of doing it. You know what I'm saying? Being on blocks that they don't own shit on. So it's like, what's stopping from militarizing the country, bro? I don't get it. Is it how much it will cost? I don't understand it, bro. Like, we got way enough soldiers to make sure ain't no violence happening without somebody getting immediately cooked. And I understand a little bit where it's like, all right, like, that takes intensive training, because what if somebody in self-defense and like, you know what I mean, or they start shooting back at you, and now we got soldiers dying to citizens. That would be crazy. But I mean, I think if you start small by like throwing National Guard at like every school, even private, like making that like a thing. Okay, we got 2 guards, and no, they don't arrest people. Their job is to kill somebody trying to fucking shoot up the school, and that's it. You know what I mean? And then, you know, slowly, you know, spread it out a little bit, I guess. Like, all these militarized countries, bro, like, they don't have people just killing each other like the way we do. And I could just, and those are like damn near third world countries, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we having more murders than a third world country, bro. Like, really think about that. Where motherfuckers is barbaric, you know, and this civilized, like, we got places like Kensington, bro. I can't help but agree with this racist ass nigga, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to say. I can't, like, a lot of this shit, like, and to me makes sense. And I don't agree with him all the time, but, like, respect this nigga, because, like, you know, you claim he Mexican, though. I ain't, he don't look Mexican to me, bro. Fuck that.
And liberate the cities. Like, we don't have that much time. We're already almost a year in the hole here. We're coming up on January. That's 1 year. Midterms are next year. And it's just too little too late.
Leave a like, subscribe too, bro. Leave a like, subscribe too. Come back here. I do this shit all the time. I usually be playing chess and listening to this shit. I might play chess, but I really want to. I need to listen to this.
Anyway, we'll talk all about this new policy. Sounds pretty good. And we have to sort of abandon the pretense. You know what's kind of funny? We used to say, we probably said this, I don't know, like last week. People would say, are you against all immigration or just for non-white people? And you'd say, no, I think we should have no immigration from anywhere. Even from what, it's just enough. And now it's kind of like, no, we could use some more. I'm actually, we can switch it up.
And this is why I like fundamentally disagree. I feel like we're stopping immigration, let's stop it. Personally. Because I don't think that's fair. I think that creates tension amongst the world. It's a global tension to me. You know, we're just gonna, you know, even some white people gonna feel crazy about that, you know. But that's why I gotta find an article, because I don't think they're just saying white people. I think they're just using, they're articulating correctly, not incorrectly, but like just carefully to basically say like probably like, okay, the people that assimilate and, you know, no crime, blah blah blah. Like, you know what I mean? I gotta find an article. I need to get a New York Times subscription, bro. It's just crazy subscriptions for these fucking newspapers, bro. Like, I got a few, but it's like, damn, bro.
We've had 30 years of all Indians and Mexicans. Now let's switch it up. We can bring in some white people.
That's funny, dude.
I'm good with that. Immigration moratorium, unless that's the new policy. No, but that'll be our main story. We're also going to talk tonight about regime change in Venezuela. And I don't know what's going on there, but it looks almost like inevitable. Now,
That shit is crazy.
we covered this
Like
last week.
we really had like there's still colonization going on, bro. How wild is that? I mean, it's not even wild when you think about it, bro. Like we're humans, we like war happens, like you know what I'm saying? We're not globally agreed upon each other. We don't even agree upon each other in the same household. So, you know, but damn. Like they be like sneakily colonizing, you know what I mean? Like Venezuela, that's wild.
I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But the Trump administration is now going all in, it seems, on toppling the socialist regime of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. They've been bombing these small allegedly these vessels involved in drug trafficking. Now, the announcement from the White House today is that they're going to begin land-based operations. Trump said we control the sea, now we're going to bomb the land. And there's a number of B-52 bombers, apparently, that were circling Venezuela all day today. I was reading this on Telegram. And at the same time, Trump authorized the CIA to begin conducting clandestine operations inside Venezuela. We don't know the nature of these covert operations, but we can only assume they're probably paving the way for a regime change. And maybe they're doing political activities, maybe they're organizing some rebellion, protests. You take out U.S.
And that's an opinion there, fellas. Like that's an opinion. They didn't come out and say that they're doing these covert operations for regime change, but this guy, that's why I listen to him so much, because like if you go back and do your homework, like about the shit he talks about, like he just kind of follows history and the money, and it's like, you know, history repeats itself, especially when money's there. And Venezuela got like a lot of oil, like they got like, you know, I'm pretty sure they got like a lot of like soybeans or just shit like that. And like, you know, we don't really make a lot of shit in America. Like, you know, like a lot of shit's not American made besides like weapons, you know, like we got cars, but we getting cars from Japan and shit, like, you know, Italy, shit. So this nigga gives good opinions. Like he's a good source, because like a lot of shit ends up coming true by what he says. And like it's kind of crazy that they got like Tucker Carlson like calling him a Fed and stuff, cause like if he's not a Fed, he's really a genius. Like you know what I mean? If he's not a Fed, like he's really tapped the fuck in. Like really, really sincerely tapped in. Like I went back and watched a lot of his shit before I started like being like, okay, like we gotta like I'm like New York Times, like when he was in New York Times, I'm like, okay, that's a good start. But like, you know, like we need people like him, you know, giving out the news, and you know, let's just listen.
You bring in the CIA, it's the same stuff. You know, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So we'll talk a little bit and give you an update tonight about Venezuela. And I have to say, I am in favor of doing something with Venezuela. But here's the problem. And I don't know if this was last night or if this was last week, but the story from the New York Times is that Rick Grenell had brokered a deal with Maduro that he was going to give us all of their stuff. He was going to give us their oil, their gold, that we would be a partner in any future gold or oil mining operations or extraction operations.
Let me go back a little bit.
Change. And maybe they're doing political activities, maybe they're organizing some rebellion, protests. You take out USAID, you bring in the CIA, it's the same stuff. You know, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So we'll talk a little bit and give you an update tonight about Venezuela. And I have to say, I am in favor of doing something with Venezuela. But here's the problem. And I don't know if this was last night or if this was last week, but the story from the New York Times is that Rick Grenell had brokered a deal with Maduro that he was going to give us all of their stuff. He was going to give us their oil, their gold, that we would be a partner in any future gold or oil mining operations or extraction operations. He said that he would completely abandon China, Russia, Iran, any joint dual-use infrastructure projects, and basically Venezuela would align with Washington, which is what we want. That's what we've always wanted out of Venezuela. And by we, I mean the United States from the point of view of foreign policy and the doctrine. But they won't take the deal. And again, according to the New York Times last week, it was Rubio, the Secretary of State and the National Security Advisor, who gets in the middle of this and says, that's not good enough. We actually have to topple the government. And I do believe that that should be a last resort because there's too many negative externalities, too many risks. We talked about it earlier on a different show. It's risks to the homeland. It's risks of instability that might cause a refugee crisis. That already happened in the first term. Why not just take the deal? So we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight. Should be a pretty good show. Before we get into it, I want to remind you to smash the follow button on Rumble, smash the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the show. My hair's a little messed up.
He's talking about my YouTube, by the way.
I was wearing a hat. How do I look?
No, I'm playing.
I have to say the camera is
Fucking
different
gay.
on the iMac. I don't know, but
Sorry, that
I
was
liking
gay.
some of the clips. I'm definitely fatter than I was 3 years ago when I did the on the road streams, but it's fine. I don't really care anymore. I also want to say before we get into the news, we have some great new products on the merch store. People have been asking about the merch, and today we just released a brand new flag. I think you're going to love it. If you go to fuentes.store, we have two new items. We have the Wang Half t-shirt.
Oh
White
my
ass
gosh.
nigga going hard as fuck. It says Wang Half on the front. It's me on the back. Do not wear that to your Young Republican meeting, please. People were saying, let's hide our power levels and be subversive. And then
Yo, what the fuck?
with his face on it. Yeah, just like
Nah, this is true.
Don't wear it out in public. Use your head. Don't wear it to the Young Republican meeting. Don't wear it to
Oh
the
my
group chat.
god.
But we got the T-shirt. The second new item we just launched today is the Nativist flag. I believe it's the Know Nothing flag. It says, Native Americans beware of foreign influence. It's really cool. And if I could, I would
really
show it to
cool.
you, but I don't have it yet. And I can't pull it up on the screen. But if you go to fuentes.store, you can check it out. I think it's awesome. I think everybody should get one. I'm going to get a couple. Also, remember to subscribe at America First.
Don't worry, my store coming out soon, fellas. I got some heat for y'all. I got some heat. I got some heat too. I got some heat too, and I'm not bullshitting either. Y'all know I got some heat coming out. Don't you worry, man. Don't you worry, I got some heat coming out. I'm fucking waiting.
With me, and look, customer satisfaction not guaranteed. I'm crashing out in there constantly. You know, yesterday I was just telling everybody, like, fuck you. I'm in the group chat doing the show, and people are tagging me during the show. And they're saying, like, when's AFPAC? When are you going to be with Tucker? And I'm like, shut up. Go away. So, customer satisfaction not guaranteed. You might not like how I respond. I might not like you. And you're not paying for me to like you. You're not paying for me to approve of your nonsense. And maybe I will. Maybe I will like you, but that's not a guarantee. It's $100 to shoot your shot.
Yo, this nigga.
But before we do, I just want to say quickly.
Are we sure he's not Jewish?
It seems that all the evidence now to follow that actually like in the group chat. So that's AmericaFirst.plus. We're going to get into it. Before we do, I just want to say quickly, it seems that all the evidence now, to follow up on the show last night, and just a quick summary. Last night we covered this article in Politico, and it's a lot of drama, it's a lot of nonsense, but basically there's this conflict in the Young Republicans, which it's like, is that even still a thing? Like, isn't that for teenagers? I don't know why people even care, but I guess there was a major rivalry in the Young Republicans between Gavin Wax, the former chair of the New York Young Republican Club, and some other guy. And they get in this big feud, they get in this big beef over a committee position. Who's going to be the committee man for the Young Republicans? Like, do you hear yourself? I want to look at Gavin Wax and his Jew face and say, do you fucking hear yourself? Committee man of the Young Republicans? Grow up. I mean, aren't you like pushing 30? You're still a young Republican? Like, get a job. He's at the State Department. Why do we need this? So anyway, Gavin Wax gets passed over for some stupid student council president position by this other guy. And in retaliation for having his valor stolen from him, he blows up everybody that's working for the other guy. And it's this group chat of about a dozen young Republicans, 7 months worth of messages, an archive. And they're making edgy jokes. They're joking about gas chambers and Hitler and watermelon people and monkeys and stuff like that. And it's harmless. I mean, it is just jokes at the end of the day. But of course, now all those people are fired. As of today, every single one of those people
Cooked
has been
them.
fired. And
Yo,
some
I know
of them
them.
lawyers,
That
and
group
some
chat
of them
was
are in
probably
politics. One of
ruthless.
them is a state rep. They're all over the country. And all
Damn.
those people have been fired. And these
Damn.
are, not all of them are white, but most of them are young. They're all young guys. They're all very conservative. I don't know if they're groypers, but I imagine they're mostly on our side. And I said last night, that kind of friendly fire just can't be tolerated. What kind of house of cards, faggot bullshit do you think you're on? What kind of power trip? Leaking group chat messages to Politico to get these guys fired because you didn't get your Young Republican committee assignment? And anyway, the update today is that more and more evidence is coming out that Gavin Wax was responsible for the leak. He ruined these people's lives. Anything that happens to them is his fault. And I said last night, you know, read the room. We're in a climate where the Democrats are trying to kill us. And I don't usually talk like that, especially not lately. By that I mean maybe in the past couple of years. But ever since Charlie Kirk got shot, it's sort of a wake-up call. I said this the other day, I'll just repeat it quickly. He got shot in the neck for being 40% as conservative as me. And they celebrated. They danced, they celebrated, they're marching down the street saying, he's a racist bastard, we're glad he's dead. You know, this is BLM, these are Antifa, radical left types. Gavin Newsom today said that the House should investigate the people in the group chat. He said that Congress should actually appoint like a subcommittee and investigate the people in the group chat. And Chuck Schumer is running with this, Gavin Wax's buddy. They're all the Democrats are running with this and saying it's not enough that we destroy their lives are ruined. We have to destroy everybody's lives who thinks like this. They want to investigate all Republicans, all young conservatives, all right-wingers, and find all the groypers, all the group chats, all the Hitler jokes, and wreck all those people. And you know that if the Democrats get in power, maybe they issue a subpoena. If they come back in the presidency, then they got the DOJ on their side. That kind of treachery, like Gavin Wax, has to be the op now. And I'm not calling for violence against him. I just want to make that clear because of the climate that we're in, obviously. But this guy needs to be straight up blacklisted from everything. Needs to be blackballed. And I said this the other night. If you have his number, if you know this guy, it is your obligation to text him and call him and say, fuck you. We want nothing to do with you. You are dead to me. We will never talk to you again. We will never add you to a group chat, call you on the phone. You're done. And I said that J.D. Vance said the right thing about this yesterday. And it's true, it was pleasantly surprising. Vance defended the young guys and said, you know, this is jokes. These are college kids making jokes. Meanwhile, on the left, they want to kill everybody. But it needs to go further than that. And there needs to be from the right wing. They're all canceling these people, by the way. The Young Republicans chapter, Mark Levin, like they're digging their heels in. They want these kids destroyed too. And I'm glad that guys like Vance and Matt Walsh and others, to their credit, they're sticking up for them. But it needs to go further. And people need to say, you know, maybe we can't repair these young kids' reputation. The damage is done. The screenshots are out there. We know what we know. But now Gavin Wax needs to pay a price. These dozen kids, they had their lives destroyed because they made jokes in the company of people they thought they could trust. Gavin Wax betrayed his own fucking side, his own people, for no reason. It's not like, you know, and you could argue these guys are being careless. But this is like, he fed them into a wood chipper. He fed them to the left and then brought down the heat on everybody. The Democrats now want to come after everybody because of young Republican bullshit. Now this guy needs to have his life ruined. But I'm going to tell you something, and this is a red pill for every young white man in politics. Listen to this and listen well. Gavin will never be held accountable. Never. These young guys, they're done. Dunzo. Forget it. You know, these dozen guys in the group chat, their lives, their careers are ruined. They'll come back in some form in years after they apologize and eat shit for a long time, and maybe they won't even work in politics. They'll be lucky if they get some other job. And that's because they were making jokes, probably the same jokes that Gavin makes in his own group chats. The reason that Gavin will never be held accountable is because he's Jewish. That is a fact. That's not paranoia. That's not prejudice. Gavin Wax, unlike these kids, has very powerful friends. He's a delegate for the Zionist Organization of America. He's taken photos with Chuck Schumer, with his grandma who survived the Holocaust in Italy. That's not even a joke. That's real. Chuck Schumer, the same guy that's lighting up these kids and calling for them to be destroyed, Gavin Wax takes pictures with Chuck Schumer because they're Jewish. And on Holocaust Remembrance Day, that's when they remember it's all in the family. So it's the same reason that Mike Bartell, the guy that got blackmailed, is at the Small Business Association and Gavin's at the State Department. It's the same reason that Patrick Casey can't get a job at DHS, but Darren Beatty's also at the State Department. Why do you think that is? All the groypers, all the non-groyper young white men getting into politics, they're coming by themselves. They don't have their cousins and nephews, their donors. They're going into this as college Republicans, bright-eyed, idealistic, looking to make a difference. These guys like Gavin and Darren Beatty, Mark Levin. Mark Levin dines with the President of the United States, and Trump listens to him. And that's because Levin is, who else was at that meeting? It was another high-powered Jewish donor when they convinced him to bomb Iran. And so every young white guy needs to kind of understand these people are not on our side. They don't play by the same rules. They don't think of us the same way they think of each other. When the chips are down, they will be protected. You will not be. And it reminds me, the perfect other example of this, the companion piece to this, is during the frat bro uprising. You remember last year when the progressives took over Columbia and UCLA protesting Israel, and they occupied the campus. You had this frat bro uprising of patriotic young Gen Z students that were rebuking the left. And it turned out, you know, where did this start? UNC Chapel Hill.
I let him have them poems, by the way. Chill.
It was an anti-Israel protest hosted by the left, countered by a pro-Israel protest led by Jewish fraternities.
Thank you,
and
sir.
They're waving, Israeli flags. But this was portrayed in the media like it was a generic left-wing protest or a generic right-wing protest. That's not what it was.
This nigga thought it was, bruh.
Maybe you remember some of my
I got a pawn and a queen, nigga.
A lot of young white men really bought this hook, line, and sinker. They saw these UNC Chapel Hill Jewish flags waving their Israel flags, fighting with leftists who hate Israel. They got tricked into thinking this was like some pro-America. He
just giving me pieces.
It's not about.
He's just giving me pieces, bro. He got all them pawns. He got happy. This nigga's retarded.
Actually, it's about like beer and zin and like the American flag and like trucks and country music or something. Some of them made the mistake of thinking it was real. And I'll never forget at Ole Miss? It was one of these universities in Mississippi. Is that even a school? I don't even know. I believe it was a school in Mississippi. Some white frat kid went to the frat bro uprising, and he made monkey noises at one of the black protesters from the left. That guy got expelled. That guy got suspended and then expelled. Bill Ackman did not give him $10,000 to throw a rager like he did for the other guys. Nobody defended him. Actually, everyone threw him under the bus. And it's like, you see this play out over and over again where it's like,
this nigga the belt.
Jewish people, they get all the privileges. They're protected. They come in with the mafia, like they did at UNC Chapel Hill, like Gavin Wax at the New York Young Republicans, very Jewish city. And white people make the mistake of thinking, oh yeah, we're going to join and we're going to protest too. And then they go a little too far. And then they get chopped off at the knees. And suddenly it's not a joke anymore. Suddenly it's not funny. There's no money for a rager. Suddenly, this like cancel culture is over, solidarity, that all goes out the window. That happened to that guy. You know, you think he's having a great time, he's done. Same with these kids. And so this is a message specifically to these college Republicans. You know, a lot of them think that I'm like, they think that the Zionists are people we can work with. You know, they say, they really buy this shit that anyone criticizing Israel's a third worldist and, you know, with Zionists you win. Like, they really believe that. This is another example. They will not help you. They will, and I don't care. Yeah, some of the kids in the group chat, like, they're not the best looking guys. Like, a lot of them are fat. It is what it is. It's whatever. They're young Republican nerds. Regardless, they will never protect you or take your side. And this is an important lesson. Gavin Wax will throw you under the bus. He will never pay the price for it. He will be protected. You are not protected. You will not have allies. And it's just a materially different situation for us than it is for them. And you can never forget that. So, if anything, this is a teachable moment about two things. One is better.
I not peep that. Damn.
We don't need to impress everybody by edgelording. If you're in one of these group chats, put on
that's crazy.
messages today. Clear the group chats. Put on disappearing messages on Telegram, on Signal. Make it a day, make it a week. Just put on the disappearing messages and clean up the act. That's why I make fun of these guys. And when the super chatters are saying, "Oh, Austrian painter," I'm making fun of you because we're past edgelording. You know, and I kind of do some funny jokes, and I'm edgy, but I'm not edgy for the sake of being edgy. Sometimes I'm edgy because it's funny. We are past the point where we need to impress each other by making the dumbest jokes from 2017. I know people got red-pilled yesterday, but we gotta be very careful about that stuff. That's one. And two, it's a lesson I tell everybody all the time. Serves you right. You trusted one of these people. And Gavin will float away on a golden parachute, on a parachute made of 30 pieces of silver, and everybody else is going to be in hell. They're going to be in young Republican hell forever. They're going to be dealing with these hit pieces for the next 10 years of their life. You Google these guys, a national from Politico is going to come up where they said gas chambers are funny, and they're going to be explaining that to their employers, their family when they move back home, and it's going to be just general suckage for a long time. And that's how it is for us. And it's not like that for them. So if Gavin is held accountable, I will say that's evidence of a strong movement. I will say good. But I doubt it's going to happen. The guy should lose his job. He should be ostracized for this. This is an unforgivable offense. He should be in the wilderness for 10 fucking years for this. But he won't be. Because Mark Levin's on his team. Because Mark Levin and Laura Loomer and Josh Hammer and all these cocksuckers that they pretend to hate, they're all really on the same team. And yeah, they have their disagreements, but it's intramural. He will be protected, mark my words. He will be kept safe from this. So J.D. Vance can say whatever he wants. Vance could say these guys shouldn't be fired. It doesn't matter. They will be. And Gavin Wax will be fine. And he did it. He fed them to the left. Internalize that. I hope you feel impotent because you are. I hope you feel frustrated because you are frustrated. You are nothing, okay? And by that, I mean these, like, young kids. You got no power. So take your own side. If you're feeling impotent, if you're feeling powerless, good. Internalize that. Take your own side. Stop, you know, and all these motherfuckers were dutiful board members for Gavin Wax at New York Young Republicans, and they were insisting to me in private, no, he's a good guy. No, you got to give him a chance. He's a good guy. I said, he's a fucking degenerate Jew, and I don't trust him for 5 seconds. He's a Zionist. He's a delegate for the ZOA. I said, I trust this guy as far as I could throw him, and I'm not a big guy. So, you know, but they all told me,
dude, he's giving me the belt now. Fuck.
I'll work in the State Department. I'll work in some lowly agency or department. It's fine if he gets the glory. He's one of ours. Like, no, dude, no. Take your own side. And people even said he's flirting with Catholicism. He's not flirting with Catholicism, bro. He is not. Give me a break. You got to stop falling for it every single time. If they're not at the Catholic Mass, if they're not at the brunch, they're not one of us, okay? If they can't go to the brunch because they can't enter the house of God because they hate us, they're not one of us, okay? So anyway, it's very, very important as we climb up the mountain. You know, like I said, we're pursuing, I wouldn't even call it an infiltration strategy. I would say it's an elite human capital strategy. People have it twisted. They say you're advocating infiltration. I'm not really. I'm advocating for people reaching their maximum potential and becoming as elite as possible so that then what they believe matters in any form, whether they're in an institution, outside the institutions, whether they're open or private about their beliefs.
You gotta take the win, bruh.
And that
Oof.
does involve some
Give me
deception
that first
or
game
misleading.
too.
You know, you just need to keep the stuff in
Wow.
mind. You need to know the rules of the game. These are the rules that people had to learn the hard way. It happened to everybody. It happened to Scott Greer. Ask Scott Greer. Deja vu all over again. Just briefly, then we'll move on. I can tell we're not going to get into Venezuela because I'm procrastinating because I don't want to talk about it. But briefly, Scott Greer, he's one of these guys where, 10 years ago, everybody's emails from Breitbart got blown up by Katie McHugh. This is like ancient history, ancient lore. I feel like the lore keeper, the scribe, the elder. 10 years ago, in the heyday of the alt-right, the alternative right, properly understood, was decimated by a very high-profile, very similar email leak. I think it was in 2018. And Katie McHugh, she was some bimbo. She was dating one of the guys. She got access to the emails, some email server that everybody was named in. She gave it to BuzzFeed, and it blew up it nuked everybody. And many people, like Scott Greer was a Daily Caller, people forget, for a long time. He was on Fox News. He had a book. He struggled for some time. And it was stuff like this, and it's like, this is just, it happens over and over, and it's always going to be part of it. And some people didn't get named in it and survived, and some people got destroyed. And I said it the other night, we're in a war. You fight battles. Some battles you win, some you lose. And in the battle, sometimes you're moving up the field, sometimes you're getting pushed back. It happens. It doesn't mean it's not worth it, but you just want to know the rules of the game. And it's like, you can't trust women. You can't trust people like Gavin Wax. Can't trust them. And understand they will always recover, and you can't. Like, they will blow you up, and no one will help you. All this stuff about All in the Family, it doesn't matter. And I'd like to see Matt Walsh and Vance. Why don't you say something about Gavin Wax? It's very easy to bitch about the leak. And on some level, they had it coming with the leak. They were being dumb. They trusted the wrong person. Like, it is what it is. But why then are not they going on the offensive against the guy that did them in? That's what I want to know. And I think we all know the answer. He's protected. But anyway, so that's that. Just a little recap on last night, because it's becoming very clear that he was responsible. I don't know that he's denying it. I'm not sure, but I don't know. And I saw his Twitter today. He said, people say they're against cancel culture. Now they're saying I should be canceled. Yeah, you're a traitor. You're a fucking rat. You're a rodent rat scurrying around, talking to Politico reporters, giving them 7 months of chat logs where people are making Hitler jokes because you didn't get your committee assignment. Like, give me a break. Should be zero quarter for that guy. Anyway, so I'll do it. And if anyone can help me knock that guy down a peg, please tell me. I will lead the charge. He needs to pay for that. Like I said, don't attack this guy violently, anything like that. Just give them what they want. Then they go cry to the ADL. But this guy should be ostracized from all Republican circles. It's treachery. But I do want to move on. I want to get into the story about the white refugees. And it'll be a shorter show. Then we'll get on into the super chats. This is from the New York Times. And I got to say, credit where it's due. Here's your credit. Credit where it is due. The Trump administration they do have some good people in there. I'm not going to say the admin is good or bad, because there's bad people in the admin and they're doing bad things. There's good people in the admin, they're trying to do the right thing. And it's a battle. Like anything else. People don't understand. Inside the administration, it really is a tug of war. And it's bureaucratic. And so, for example, there's guys in DHS, they want the workplace raids. They want ICE to show up to Home Depot or to the farms or the meat packing plants. And they want to throw everybody out. Like, they want this at DHS and ICE. Susie Wiles does not. These guys want all the farmers to go. Stephen Miller wants to give them H-2A visas. I'm not making this up. This is real. So you know, when we look at the Trump administration, we have to be even-handed and we have to be fair. And I hate the word nuanced, but we have to be nuanced and precise. There are some good people, some bad people, and consequently, there's some good policies and some bad ones. And this is certainly, if this happens, I think this is great. The big story today is that the Trump administration is considering prioritizing white refugees from countries like South Africa, specifically those that are assimilable and against immigration. And I saw this, and my first thought was, man, for years we have been saying we want no immigration, even white people. But at the same time, I'm like, we want more white people in America. It's actually safe to say, this is fine. I'm fine with it. We've had 30 years of infinite Indians, Chinese, Hispanics. Let's give some white people a home. Let's give some white people a chance here. And this is the story from New York Times. We'll just talk about the policy. It says, quote, "The Trump administration is considering a radical overhaul of the U.S. refugee system that would slash the program to its bare bones while giving preference to English speakers, white South Africans, and Europeans who oppose migration." Love it. The proposals, some of which already have gone into effect, would transform a decades-old program aimed at helping the world's most desperate people into one that conforms to Mr. Trump's vision of immigration, which is to help white people who say they are being persecuted while keeping the vast majority of other people out. Okay, well, what's wrong with helping white people? Haven't we helped enough non-white people? When is enough enough? We've helped like 70 million non-white people come here in a few generations. That's not enough. We can only help non-white people. White people are being treated badly in South Africa. We can't help them because they're white. We only help non-white people forever, and that's it. So I don't, it's even in the wording, it's just dripping with like contempt. It's like white people is just automatically a bad word. Oh, he wants to help white people. Okay, why is that a bad thing? Isn't that a good thing? I'm white. I want to help white people too. It says the plans were presented to the White House in April and July by officials in the state and Homeland Security departments after President Trump directed federal agencies to study whether refugee resettlement was in the interest of the United States. Mr. Trump had suspended refugee admissions on his first day in office and solicited the proposals about how and whether the administration would continue the program. The proposed changes would put new emphasis on whether applicants would be able to assimilate into the United States, directing them to take classes on American history and values and respect for cultural norms. They also advised Mr. Trump to prioritize Europeans who have been targeted for peaceful expression of views online, such as opposition to mass migration or support for populist political parties, maybe like Dries van Langenhoven, who they want to throw him in jail for no reason. So I like this policy, and let's be perfectly honest just about immigration and race. I think it's actually a controversial question whether non-white people even can assimilate at all. And there's questions. Can non-white people ever, on any timeline, under any circumstances, assimilate? I don't know. That's maybe the most controversial question to ask. And it begs the question, what is assimilation? And we understand the basics.
Damn, he gave me belt this game. That's crazy. No diddy.
Do you practice the culture? Do you understand the founding documents? Do you observe the holidays, the national holidays or religious holidays? Maybe you say it has something to do with being a Christian. But on some level, assimilation is deeper. It means, do you see yourself as American? And what does that mean? I don't think even black people see themselves as American. Some of them do.
I do.
And some of them are patriots, and many black people love America. But when they're trying to get their own national anthem, their own flag, their own Independence Day, their own founding fathers, is that assimilation? And how long have they been here? 400 years? They want to have a red and green American flag to reflect their favorite cuisine.
Nigga,
they want to have their own
who the fuck
anthem.
wanted
They
this?
sing the same happy birthday song. They sing the Stevie Wonder song. They want to have a flag. They have Junior.
This is why this bull is
Martin Luther King
racist.
Jr. and Abraham Lincoln founded
This is
America.
just out of
Susan G.
nowhere.
Ruth and Harriet Tubman, they want her on the money.
Tell me how you really feel,
They
nigga.
hate Thomas Jefferson. They hate George Washington. And it's not all of them, but that's a significant portion of them. So now, granted, blacks speak English. They've been here for 400 years. Many of them are Christian. They go to the schools. They're integrated on some level in the major metropolitan cities. They go to universities. But in some cases, even they have their own colleges, historically black colleges and universities.
Oof.
Are they meaningfully assimilated? Would they say, I'm American and I identify with another white person as American? I think that's a stretch. So who does
That was
see
a tough
themselves
game
as
that didn't go your
quintessentially
way,
American?
but
I
there
would
are
say
some
it's
good
European
moves to review
immigrants.
together.
Polish,
Strong
Italians,
players throughout history have played
Germans.
this move.
Like there's
Gary
Germans living in
Kasparov,
Pennsylvania
Magnus
for
Carlsen,
200
Bobby
years.
Fischer, and
They're as
you.
American as any English, Scots-Irish. Same with people French, and they have their own ethnic flavor, but they see themselves as,
Their
I'm
bishop
American.
moves into the game.
Do recent arrivals from Latin America? No, they don't speak English. There's so many schools in Chicago and LA where not a word of English is spoken in the entire building. They don't say the Pledge
Their
of Allegiance
bishop
in
moves into the
English.
game.
How about these Indian immigrants?
With that move,
How
you
about
chase the bishop
Muslims?
away.
They're clannish. And this
They
gets
move the
even
bishop to
into,
safety.
is assimilation possible at all? I don't know.
Moving
I don't
the
think
same
so.
piece
I
here
don't-
doesn't add much
for
value
non-white
to your
races,
position
I
in
think
the
it's
opening.
exceedingly rare.
They move the bishop to safety.
But let's say maybe they can assimilate in perfect
Their pawn
conditions.
attacks your knight.
What would
This
those
is a good
conditions
time for
be?
you to
Well,
get out
only
of
if they're
trouble.
vastly outnumbered by white people.
Their better move
I
was
think
to
those are
develop a
maybe the only
knight and
conditions
attack the
where they can
center.
that would be perfect conditions.
You had a
for
better
assimilation.
option, but this is not
As
bad.
if they're surrounded by heritage
They are threatening to
Americans
force
that
the
have been
loss
here
of
for
castling
10
rights.
generations. And maybe over time they might assimilate. Under perfect conditions, that's a maybe.
Your best move was
But
to
we're
send a
far from
queen into the
perfect
game.
conditions.
They are
We have a
threatening to
country
force
that's
the loss
already
of
so
castling
diverse
rights.
and
Your
became
decent
diversified
move,
so
but they had a
rapidly.
better one.
The people are coming here in
Your
such
pawn is
large numbers and
undefended.
forming
So
ethnic
this move
enclaves.
loses, capturing your hanging
It's
knight.
not. It's,
Your
it's
pawn is
actually adverse
undefended.
conditions.
So this move
if an
loses
Hispanic
material.
comes to Chicago, and
Decent
in
move, but
3
they had a
miles
better
in any
one.
direction, it's
You're
all
capturing
Hispanics
your
that
hanging
only
knight.
speak Spanish.
Nice
and
work.
the signs are in
You'll be
Spanish,
winning
and
a
it's all their
pawn.
food and culture and parades
Defending
and
their hanging
everything.
pawn.
How are they even?
You
how's it
captured a
even
free pawn.
possible? Even if you think it is
They
possible,
stopped
how's
the
that going
check
to happen? It
by
doesn't.
interposing a piece
And the
between
same
your
goes for
bishop
these
and
Muslim
that pawn was
cities they're
yours for
trying
the
to set up,
taking.
like in
Their
Dearborn
best
or
option was to
Somalia.
develop a
It's
knight
same
and
with
attack.
these
Your
Indian
best move was
enclaves
to
where they
force
build
the
out
loss
new
of castling
construction and
rights.
they take over a whole subdivision. It's the same everywhere.
Their best option was
And
your best move was to
so
force
this is
the loss of
classic
castling
problem
rights.
with immigration. First of all, you're bringing in huge
That's
numbers
playable.
of people. They have nothing in common with
Not the
us.
best move, but not
They
bad
don't want
either.
to assimilate. The
They
conditions
found
are
a
not
powerful
such,
discovered
even if it
attack.
was possible for
Winning.
them to assimilate.
Your opponent's better position
never
has
ends.
shifted into a clear winning
There's
advantage.
never a pause like there was throughout American history, where we open the door, we close the door, we open the door, and this was for Germans, Irish, Italians. This is for racially white, Christian, culturally
leaves a queen
European.
open to
This
being
is for people
captured.
that had a lot in
This
common
misses
with
an
the founding
opportunity.
stock. Forget
Your
about
opponent's
people,
better position
you
has
could say
shifted.
the
Your
Protestants
opponent
diverged from
sacrificed
the
their
Catholics
rook.
500 years ago.
A clear
You
recapture.
could say that the Germans and
They made one
the
of the top
Italians
moves
are
in this position.
different sub-races.
You allowed the they
Indians
missed a
have
chance to
different
tactically win a
alphabet.
rook.
They have a completely different
You permitted the
religion.
opponent
They
to win a
barely
rook.
came into
Your
contact
opponent
with
set up.
Europeans.
This move
They have
cuts off
nothing
the
in
check.
common with us.
They missed
And
a
so,
chance to. You permitted the
I'm not gonna
opponent to
sit
win a
here and
rook.
pretend
Your
that
opponent. This move
on
cuts
its
off the
face,
check from the bishop,
Whites are not better
keeping your
immigrants
king
than
safe.
non-whites for those reasons.
They,
The
you are
point of an
threatening to
immigration
tactically win a
program is
queen.
to make our country better. And necessarily that means it can't make the country worse. And destroying the cohesion and the identity of the country definitely makes it worse. Like if the native people are one way and the immigrants are another way, and they obstinately refuse to give up their ways, then that creates a lack of cohesion, division. It creates this alien presence that is unfamiliar and foreign. And the bigger that it gets, the smaller that Native America becomes, the more it recedes. Immigration should benefit the natives, not replace them, not substitute them, not attack them, not form up a counter-identity in opposition to them. So I think that's an important first principle, and we shy away from it, and I have in the past too. No, not all immigrants are created equal. Whether they're illiterate peasants from dysfunctional countries or like highly selected, specialized, high IQ people from another country, whether they're white or non-white, what their politics are. Like some immigrants are better than others. Some refugees are better than others. And it doesn't mean they're like genetically superior, like they're better, like they have more innate value, but they have more value they can provide to America. They are less of a threat to American identity than others. I think everyone understands that on some level. Even for that matter, the black people get this. You know, in Chicago, where do you think they're dumping all these Venezuelans? They're dumping them in black neighborhoods, and not to do that like cuck boomer thing where you say, oh, you know, but it's just true. I mean, you got black people in the south side of Chicago, they sound like Trump because they're saying we don't want to be invaded by Venezuelans. Who does? You know, you stay there. So I like the program. It's honest, and it says if we're prioritizing for assimilation, let's bring in some damn-ass white people. Let's bring in some English speakers for a change. We tried the other stuff. It's not great. You know, is anybody really thrilled about these recent arrivals? Does anybody say, oh,
Damn,
awesome,
why is he
more
fucking...
Indians, more Guatemalans. Oh, great.
So
more,
boring.
you know, the Nigerians aren't the worst, actually. I'd prefer them to the African Americans on some level. But it's even then,
Jesus.
it's like, no, I don't think anybody's really thrilled about that. We've been forced to acquiesce to it and to accept it and tolerate it, but no one loves that. Wouldn't it be nice to see some white faces come into Ellis Island? See some white people move into the neighborhood? And maybe they have a funny accent, but it's like they take care of their property and they're not, you know, abusing emergency services, calling an ambulance every time they have a stomach ache. Wouldn't that be nice for a change? So I love it. I like the new policy. And I have to, but here's the thing, and this is kind of my caveat. They say some of this proposal is being implemented. Who knows if it will be fully implemented? It's just not enough. And here's the thing. I said before we introduced the topic, you have good people in the administration, you have bad people in the administration. It's a tug of war. It just shouldn't be like that. It doesn't need to be like that. And for me, you know, people say, why are you so negative towards Trump? He's doing some good things, and I agree propositionally with what you're saying. But my experience, having been watching this for 10 years, is like we won the impossible victory 10 years ago.
Fuck.
We beat Hillary Clinton. We beat the 16 Republicans. Like, we did it. And Trump got elected.
What
and
a
we
pussy.
played this game 10 years ago. The personnel battles, the chief of staff sucking ass, the doxing everybody, like this thing with Gavin Wax, this is all played out already. And that was why the first Trump administration didn't make America great. That's why BLM tore through the cities. That's why we shut down the country with the pandemic. It's why we didn't build the wall. It's why we didn't withdraw from Syria or Afghanistan or Iraq. Like, let's be honest, the first Trump administration objectively was a failure. Who were the big winners? Tech companies. They made all the money when they shut down the economy, and the Amazon and Microsoft and Pfizer went through the roof. You know, so stock market did well. The people that owned the companies did well. BlackRock did well. Pfizer did well. Amazon did well. Corporations that got their taxes cut, they did well. But everybody that was waiting for an infrastructure bill, a middle-class tax cut, anybody that wanted NAFTA thrown out or a tariff schedule, people that wanted the troops to come home, people that wanted a border wall, people that wanted mass deportations 10 years ago, people that wanted the job market not to be frozen and to be shut out by H-1Bs. They all lost. Like, they did not get what they wanted. And that is because that agenda was thwarted. And it was thwarted because when Trump won in 2017, he didn't have any of his own guys. So Trump wins the election. During the transition, he taps Reince Priebus, the head of the RNC, to fill up the White House. And they fill it up with crap. They fill it up with people they just defeated, from Rubio, from Bush, from W. Bush. And it was a running joke in D.C. that if you were loyal to Trump and actually supported his agenda, it made you less likely to get a job in the White House and more likely to be fired if you had one. Because the people running the show hated Trump, hated his agenda. And so when people talk about, we got to pressure Trump on Twitter, we got to get our guys in there, we got to, you know, there was like this campaign I talked about with Dave Smith during the transition this year. They said, no to Mike Pompeo. We got to tell Trump he can't hire Pompeo. I'm like, aren't you people tired? We did this 10 years ago. We went through all this bullshit. The personnel, everything I'm describing, we went through this the first time. And I talked a lot about this in 2024. It's like it just should have never been like that ever again. It's like Trump should have learned his lesson. He should have only brought people loyal to him into the second, or rather the third campaign. Only brought people loyal to him into the second administration. It should have been Project 2025. And it should have been like everyone's on board. From top to bottom, from Trump down through the State Department, Treasury Department, all the way down to the lowest level guy. It should have been like at least 5,000 Trump hires that were as based and loyal as like a John McEntee. Loyalty tests, ideological tests. Are you America first? Are you loyal to the president? Are you going to support a tariff schedule, ending the wars, deporting everybody? Because if you're not, get out. But it's deja vu. We're playing the same game. And now it's like ICE wants to deport everybody, but Susie Wiles says no. Okay, well, why the fuck is she here? She didn't support Trump through January 6th. She's a lobbyist from South Florida. What business did... But she's bringing her people with her. She runs a campaign. She's a Trump whisperer. She's at Mar-a-Lago, where Trump is in Palm Beach. She's bringing all the spooks from South Florida, like Rubio and Waltz and Pam Bondi. Personnel is policy. And so what you have now is that we are entering the second year of the second Trump administration. It shouldn't have even been possible. Like, the guy took a bullet for it to not be like this, for him to just run the table and just do what must be done. You know, I will send the army, I'm Jerusalem. Like, he should have just been able to really transform America, like New Deal style overhaul. And it's not happening. What they're doing is peanuts. Yeah, there's some nice stuff in there, but it's too little, too late. The clock is running out. The midterms are next year. They're playing games. We're doing the same shit. And so I look at stuff like this, and I'm like, okay, so they're going to bring in a few hundred Boers or whatever. Like, how about we deport 10 million people? How about we say immigration moratorium? Defy the courts. Do whatever you need to do, but just, like, make the changes. But we're getting these, like, peanuts. And I said this last week, and some people, you know, they deliberately misinterpreted it. I said, we're really barking up the wrong tree, in a sense, because all Trump is doing now is pissing these people off. What are we really getting out of this? Yeah, we're getting some deportations. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's not even really good. It's okay. But the Democrats, they think this is the Trumpenreich. Like, they think this is Hitler for real. They think this is the fascist takeover of America. The civil service is being gutted to clear the way, to cancel the elections so that Trump could be dictator for life, and we don't do kings here. Like, they're amped up. And they're shooting people. And, like, they think this is Avengers Endgame. You know, they think it's The Handmaid's Tale. They think they're going to chop Thanos' head off. So here's the thing. If you're not serious, if you have subversion from within again, you don't even control your own team, if you're doing not enough, but you're pissing off the enemy, and they are taking it deadly serious, you're just barking up the wrong tree. What are we doing other than pissing these people off and daring them to kill us now? Because we're not doing enough stuff here. If we don't complete the mass deportations, if we don't send every Antifa leader to jail for the next 5 years, if we don't actually cripple the left, they could regroup. It's not, you know, they might not. It just might not be in the cards, but they could regroup. They're going to come back in 26 and jam everything up, and everything's going to get harder. And then they're going to come in 2028, and then they're going to try and kill all of us, you know? So they are not taking it seriously. This is not a game where you can lose. It's like you win or you die. We either win this game that Trump started in 2016. You either win that game where you come for the power structure and try to replace it. You either win and you're the new power structure, or everyone involved is rounded up and executed. So if you're not playing to win, you just shouldn't play. And that was always my gripe. When Trump X'd out Project 2025 at the behest of La Savita and Susie Wiles, I said, it's over. When Trump said, we're going to staple green cards to diplomas because we want to keep All In happy, we want to keep David Sachs happy, you know, Joe Rogan is now saying he doesn't want to do the deportations. I'm like, well, you know, this movement, if they're not willing to do what it takes, if they're worried about public opinion on any level, they're just not going to be serious. And like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what's now happening. So everybody, and look, everybody's always looking to lionize Trump. Because I'm so negative towards Trump, people are looking for every little thing that they could say, no, but this is good. See, Trump is doing great. Granted, yeah, Trump, it's not all bad. It's not all bad. A lot of it's actually very good. And we got a lot of guys in the administration that are good, and they're doing a good job, and they're trying to do right by the country, and some good stuff has come out of this, but it's just like, it's not enough. And that's not me making perfect the enemy of the good. That's not me being picky or, bitter. No, that's me understanding the knock-on effects. That's me understanding the second-order effects because I lived through it. It already happened. We did the first Trump administration. They took power, and they tried to throw us in jail. They banned us from everything. They tried to make everyone get vaccinated. We lived through this, and it shouldn't have been like this a second time, but it is. And that's me just shaking my head and saying, man, these people never learn. Trump never changes. The people around him never learn. They weren't around for the first thing. They don't know how it went. So I just hope they get their act together for everybody's sake. Because if they don't, it's not going to be good. But that's that. We're going to move on. We're going to take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say about all this. Our based pro-white immigration policy. Did you ever think you'd hear of such a thing? All right, let's see. We'll start from where we left off last night. And I'm going to read them out loud because I'm not able to pull them up on the screen. Benjamin Netanyahu says, hey, Nick, I am a Mexican supporter and I am brown skin. Can I still wear the Wang Half shirt? He doesn't even speak English. That's got to be a troll. That's not real. That brown skin Groiper is not real. He can't hurt you. Polly Walnuts Groiper says, sounds like someone is mad Drake May has arrived. God bless, Nick. Keep up. I'm not following all that. Alexander de Groiper says, soon-to-be young adult Nick, what do you think about young men joining the military for special forces? I, for one, don't want to die for Israel, but don't have the ability to go to college. Womp womp. What are you, poor? Just get a loan, dude. You don't have to pay that shit back. Just get a loan. Go to a state school. I don't know. Maybe if you're stupid, then that's what you mean. The appeal of war and tactical training is very high. Do you see a path for special forces than police work? Oh, brother. Yeah, that's fine, but that's not doing anything for us, really. Police officers have to do what they're told, so, it's not going to be like The Dark Knight where, the cops are, the army against Bane, or I don't think that's really that helpful, but sure, it's a great career path. Hooray for problems, says fuck Spotify, am I right? Yeah, what's going on, man? I guess I was number one for a day, but I didn't even start that channel. That's not even my channel. Someone else just started uploading my show. I didn't even do it. Honest to God, it wasn't me. It wasn't even an intern. Some random guy just started uploading my show. It went number one immediately, and then they banned it. So, Fashion Groiper says, fair enough about the pink socks. You're wearing derby lace shoes, though, and while it's technically not a faux pas in America to wear them with a dark suit, you don't know what you're talking about. Just wear black Oxfords instead. Fuck off and die and kill yourself immediately. Edie's Groiper says, thank you for doing shows on the road. You're looking great. Audio is good, too. Your voice sounds raspier. I've been doing a lot of content. This collab, you're not going to see it for a few months, but it's a big collaboration. It's not big in terms of, it's not like a huge platform, but it's going to be a really good, I don't want to spoil it, but it's a lot of content. So I've been doing a lot of shows. So I'm a little tapped out, but thank you very much for the big super chat. I appreciate it. Donald Trumpstein says Mug Club Intelligence mogs Candace Intelligence Agency. Not a fan of Crowder, but at least he isn't muddying the waters and making the anti-Israel right look retarded. It's a good point. Yeah, Mug Club, they have good sources. Deep Down says Groppers up at 10 p.m. Utah clock time. Utah clock time. Yeah. There you go. I like the Gropper. Bugman says, are you fucking with beavers? Okay. Hassan's dog says, thanks for all you do. The show has motivated and informed me in many ways. I just passed my first CPA exam. I'm joining a Big 4 firm in a couple of months. Going to conceal my power level, Wang half. Wang half. It will be done. I love to hear that for you. Stay out of the group
Jesus.
chats. Lily Frosty says, I'm European. Here we go. 22 years old, Catholic, and beautiful. Well, I'll be the judge of that. I enjoy watching you, and I even sent you an email and a DM on X to reach out to you. I'm real. I'm sure you'll like me, so check them, please. Yeah, you sound like I'd like you because you're nagging me. There's nothing I love more than when people bombard my inbox with messages, and then when I don't get back to them, they tell me about it and say, hey, I sent you a text. Yeah, it sounds like I'm really going to love you. Sounds like the beginning of a beautiful marriage. Did you see the messages I sent you, honey? Did you see why aren't you replying to my messages? Why aren't you replying to my messages, Nick? Sounds like I would really like you. Yeah, I don't know. 22, listen, I'm not into cougars, okay? You sound great, sound like a nice girl. I'm not into mature women like that, but I'm sure you'll make somebody very happy, maybe someone your own age. No, I'm teasing you a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about being solicited like this by a Foyd. Bobby says your interview with PBD versus his interview with Thomas Rousseau is interesting. In the latter, it seems they discuss his ideology and movement more, whereas in your interview, it's like he is lecturing you. Do you agree? Well, I think the interview was kind of meant to do different things. For Thomas Rousseau isn't really known. It's Patriot Front that's known. So he was being interviewed basically as a representative of this entity. And the question that everybody's wondering is, what is Patriot Front? Like, who are these guys? Are they white nationalists? Are they feds? So he was really trying to get to the bottom of that, saying like, okay, Patriot Front is talked about. Everyone suspects they're feds. Maybe they're sincere. Well, what do they believe? And where do they come from? And so I think that was the purpose of that interview. And that's why it was tough. And with me, people are wondering, well, who is Nick Fuentes? And they're trying to get to the bottom of where did this guy come from and how did this guy get to be maybe extreme and what is his approach about? And I think he likes me. I think he thinks I'm well-spoken. I think he thinks I'm a good guy. But like everybody, they all want to tell me you're hurting yourself by being provocative. And I can't help but wonder, I'm sure that comes from a good place. I mean, let's be honest. Generation Z was raised on the internet. And so what we find funny is extremely edgy and provocative, and they can call it shock jock. We don't, that comes from like radio jocks. We don't listen to radio. We play video games, we watch live streams, and it is so much more irreverent than anything that was ever on TV or radio. In the old days, when you used to say, oh, that's the internet, that meant like, oh, like everything's on the internet. Smut, gore, people getting beheaded, people getting blown to smithereens, weird pornography. Like in 2007, when people would say, oh, that's the internet, it was synonymous with like anything goes on the internet. It is like, it's stupid, it's obscene, it's vulgar, it's chaotic. YouTube poop, it's just like low quality, amateurish, anything goes. And so we were raised on that. And I think on some level it's a generational thing where, these older guys are like, do you really need to make these jokes? It's like, well, it's not that I need to. It's just, one, it's who I am. And that's why Zoomers relate to me, because I'm speaking their language, and that's what we find funny. That's our culture. That's our sense of humor. That's why I'm resonating. And I don't even do it intentionally. I don't do that self-consciously. I'm just who I am. Whereas you look at a Brylan Hollyhand, and he's LARPing like a boomer. He's on Fox News, and he's like, well, Dana, I got to tell y'all that blah, blah, blah. And it's like it sounds like you're raised by your grandparents. Do you really talk like that? Like you're fake as fuck. Like you don't sound like an 18-year-old. You sound like you're Alex P. Keaton. You sound like a sitcom character from the 80s. You're not real. So I think it comes from a good place. And for the boomers, they're like, I misjudged you because I saw these clips and that offended my sensibility. So I wish you would help us like you, by being less controversial. So I think it comes from a good place, but to me, that's what that is. And I don't begrudge him for that. I mean, maybe he's right in a certain way, but that's what it is. Keith says, recently started OCIA and love it. However, our next session is a Jewish Catholic dialogue and anti-Semitism hosted at the church, moderated by the ADL. Oh, boy. I know I have to hide my power level, but I don't know if I can contain myself. Is this parish infiltrated? Curious if this is part of the social media war. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the parish. Some parishes have none of that. Some have, a lot of that. The theology is all the same. So they could tell you that bullshit. You don't have to believe it. That's not part of the dogma. That's not part of the magisterium. Forget that. You go, you do what you got to do. You finish the OCIA. Just try to contain yourself. Julia says, do you prefer chocolate chip or snickerdoodle? Okay, relax. What's your opinion of Ohio King? I don't know who that is. Oh, do you mean like the state of Ohio? Or is there someone called Ohio King? I've been to Ohio, but never spent a lot of time there. I took a vacation to the islands of Lake Erie once. That's about as much time as I've ever spent there, but I've never really spent a lot of time in Ohio. Reactionary says that area of Maine Tucker calls home is breathtaking. Enjoy Maine. It's a true hidden gem, especially now with the fall foliage. Okay, fag.
Okay,
Says
fag.
the extra medium jacket game Riz needs a wet floor sign when you do interviews. What's extra medium?